Hi there, and welcome to our first screencast for Applied Teaching with Technology, EDIS 5440 at the University of Virginia. Since this is our first screencast, I'm going to go over some class format and basic information that will help you navigate our semester together. And after that, we're going to talk a little bit about your first two projects, creating a blog and creating a website to serve as a portfolio for your work. So the first thing that we'll talk about is some basic routines and expectations you can have so that you'll know what to do each week in class. So before class, at the beginning of the week, there will be an article for you to read. You need to make sure to understand it fully and come prepared to engage in an activity that has to do with the reading. The first 30 minutes of class on Monday will be used to present projects or new information. For the first 6 or so weeks of class, each week there's a project that's due, and so that'll be an opportunity for us to share those projects. One thing that I just wanted to let you know is that projects may be completed individually or certainly in pairs as well. We can talk about that a bit in class. The last 20 minutes of class on Monday will be spent discussing readings, but please come ready to expect more than just a discussion, because each week we're going to have somebody who is a reading leader who's going to have an activity planned. That way we can really engage in the material in an interesting and innovative way. So some ideas for that might be a type of debate or some kind of technology application that relates to the topic that we read about. Similarly, before you come to class on Wednesday, you need to watch a video or screencast just like this one. What that's going to do is allow you to have some background information and be prepared for class on Wednesday. That way we can use as much time as possible for you to get some of your projects done, for me to answer questions, and those kinds of things. We want to keep it as busy and interactive as possible while we're together, so some of the more basic preliminary information I'll be delivering to you via these screencasts. That way we can spend our time together productively. For the first 10 minutes on Wednesday, each of you will sign up 1 week to be the Cool Tools leader. And basically the idea behind that is that you'll be able to share an innovative software or hardware tool or product that you think might relate to classroom practice. You might give an example of how it's used, or you might talk about how it relates to lessons that could be taught by some of your classmates, and how that relates to the pedagogy of teaching and the content that you want to get across to students. The last 40 minutes of class on Wednesday is going to be spent working on that particular week's project. That way you'll have time to do any troubleshooting or ask questions of me while we're together. That will also give you the opportunity, if you're working with a partner, to have time together so that you can spend less time outside of class on those kinds of things, but it will allow you to communicate with each other, and if nothing else, set up time to work together in the future. So one of the first things that I want for you to get familiar with is Google Docs. Many of you may have used Google Docs in the past, but Google Docs are a great way for us to collaborate on some of the work that we're doing. This is also something you're going to need to sign up for this week so that you can pick the date that you'd like to be the reading leader and the Cool Tools leaders. So here's a short video that'll tell us a little bit about them.
Whether it's a lawnmower or a coffee pot, it has a home in our lives. Of course, our documents are no different. For years, they lived on our computers. Each person has their own computer-based home for documents. When we need to share a document, we usually attach it to an email and send it to a friend's or coworker's computer home. Here's the problem. When you attach a document to an email, copies are created. Consider this. If you send an email attachment to 3 people, the same document will exist in 4 different places. That's a problem. There's a better way, and it means saying goodbye to messy email attachments. This new kind of home isn't on your computer. It's on the internet. And that makes sharing and collaborating on documents much easier and gives you full control over who can see and access your documents. Here's the basic idea. Instead of attaching a document to an email, let's switch it around and look at how we can attach an email address to a document. Meet Sam. Sam is the editor of a neighborhood newsletter called the Oak Tree View. She works with local writers who would like to publish articles in the newsletter. Sam loves her job, but often feels frustrated when time is wasted managing all the articles. It's a familiar problem. Each month, writers send her draft articles as email attachments. She reviews them and sends them back with comments. One article might create 6 different versions of the same file, not to mention countless emails. Sam often feels buried by all the email attachments. She finds it hard to keep track of all the versions being sent to her from the writers. As the deadline looms, frustration rises. Something has to give. Sam decides to try something new, Google Docs. Here's what happens. First, she visits the Google Docs page and creates a free Google account. She logs in, and because some articles were already written, she uploads the current drafts right from her computer. With a snap, Google Docs turns the offline articles into online versions. Now, all she needs to do is invite the writers to collaborate on the documents. Here's how. She clicks Share, inserts email addresses, and clicks Invite Collaborators. Google Docs sends the writers an email with a secure link directly to her document. One click, and they can edit and save the document online. This means that when Julie edits the document, Sam sees the changes immediately. Since there's only one document, there's never confusion about updates or versions. It's all saved, along with the past versions, on the website. For the first time, the articles all have a home, a single place for organizing and editing that is accessible from any computer with internet access. Problem solved. What's really cool is that this problem isn't just solved for documents, but also spreadsheets and presentations. All 3 can now have a secure home on the web that works exactly like Sam's documents. Sam is relieved. Without having to deal with attachments, multiple versions, and all that clutter, she can be an editor instead of a document master. And for the next newsletter, not a single email attachment is sent, and Sam beats the deadline by a week. Sharing documents made simple, and all for free. Google Docs rocks.
So that is a set of tools that we'll be exploring over the course of the semester, but I do hope that before class tomorrow you will take the time to sign up for a Google Docs account if you don't already have one. After this video is over, you'll notice that on the class website there's a link both for this presentation, for the video or screencast of this, as well as the presentation. One thing that I've done is in most of my presentations I've linked directly to the sites that are important. So if you see one of the terms that is underlined and has a different color, that will typically link you directly to the site or service that it's referring to. So the next thing we're going to talk about is just considering how much technology has changed the lives of ourselves and our students when we think about technology in an educational context. So some of those numbers and facts can really make you think about how technology has changed the world that we live in a pretty short amount of time, and it only makes me wonder what it might be like for some of our students as they begin to get older. So I want for us to think throughout the semester about how learning and technology are different today than they were, and how they might affect learning in the future. So I'm first going to share a series of groups and tools that may help you just get familiar with some of the educational technology landscape. But the first thing that I want for you to think about is, while we have access to lots of incredible resources, one of the first things that we want to do is help our students, instead of needing to just gather data, really consider what is useful information or not. And this is a great example that I used to share with some of my students. And this is a website to help save the endangered northwest tree octopus from extinction. So what you'll see is that if you go to the particular link, it looks like a very factual and well-researched site, but if you use any common sense, you realize that it's absolutely a hoax. That being said, helping teach our students to discern the quality of websites and what information is most important and relevant is an important skill that we need to work